The following SpongePod is brought to you by fancy. The Webster's Dictionary definition of fancy is elaborate in structure or decoration.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. Webster's is pretty helpful, right, Tim?
I love me some David Webster.
David Webster knows his thing. I just want to make sure that we're proper for our fancy folk. You know, they might be currently dining at fancy listening to the SpongePod.
I gotcha. Yeah. It's important to be respectful of everybody.
Exactly. The Webster's Dictionary definition of elaborate is involving many carefully arranged parts or details, detailed and complicated in design and planning.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts. So
the Webster's Dictionary definition of complicated is an Avril Lavigne song.
I don't know that one.
Check out
correct.
Fancy for all your pretentious needs. And welcome to the SpongePod, the official, unofficial podcast of SpongeBob SquarePants, where we overanalyze every single episode and get down to the bikini bottom of your fan theories. I'm your host and in-house SpongeBob expert, Eric. Are you ready, Tim?
Aye, Captain.
There was a little bit of a hesitation there. We just did the intro 8 times because it took us 8 times. We're after 2 years, I'm just not sharp.
You don't think?
I'm just not sharp. I'm so happy to be back with you guys, though. We are here. It is the SpongePod. It is September. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, we are talking Opposite Day, a great episode of SpongeBob. We're also going to give you a segment that is Timmy 10. We did it season 1. It's a David Letterman ripoff, but I think we like it. So here we are. Tim, when was the last time you moved? It was quite a while, wasn't it?
Probably 2012, I would say.
Can you think of the worst, a thing that is more bad than moving? Because I moved like a year ago, and I considered just burning everything down.
I know. I had to talk you off the ledge, kind of.
I know. Moving is just so bad. It's just not a fun thing to do at all. And so this episode is a very strange episode in which basically Squidward convinces himself that he needs to move because his neighbors are just horrible. And we'll see what happens. Let's just jump right in. First off, I want to make sure that you're checking us out on social. Make sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, all at the SpongePod, as well as shoot us emails. We never get emails from you guys. All right. It's a pretty sad account. It's like Timmy's Tinder account, right? It's just empty and sad. No, that sounds sad. That's pretty rude. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, if I actually had a Tinder account, maybe I'd be offended, but
that's true. Okay, there we go. That makes me feel better. So let's just jump right into the first act. Squidward is sleeping like a baby when he is woken up by our heroes, SpongeBob and Patrick, who are waiting to congratulate the sleepy squid for his birthday. After blowing out the candles, eating his birthday cake, and playing pin the tail on the seahorse, Squidward finally complains that this actually isn't his birthday. Squidward freaks out and decides to move out as soon as possible. He calls a real estate agent and she agrees to sell his house as long as it's not infected by nematodes or has annoying neighbors. Squidward now tries to find a way to sell his house without his pesky neighbors, SpongeBob and Patrick, bringing the price down. Now, this is just a great setup, I must say, right off the bat. I mean, it's just perfect. It's Squidward's now motivated to do something, but we're going to see him manipulate the situation in a way that just isn't, it would never work.
Yeah, you mean like trying to get,
doing the whole opposite day thing. Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit more of a setup, but like yeah, let's get into that a little bit later, but it's really interesting that like Squidward is so motivated by moving. Like he probably hasn't moved in a while because moving is horrible.
Right.
So pursue moving is just galling to me. Because like I said in the intro, like last time I moved, I considered just setting it all on fire. And just not doing like I'll just start over. I'll buy all these books again. Right. There's a half price books right down the street. I'll just buy them all again. That's fine. Did you find anything on the internet?
Yeah, so this is a fan theory from Perez Spungeton 332 on Nickelodeon.com. You know
Nice.
those classic Nickelodeon message boards. Here she says, this was the writers of SpongeBob secretly complaining about living right next to P. Diddy. Famously, Steve Hillenburg hates his neighbor's excessive parties and rap music videos and complained often to the police.
Wow.
I know. What do you think about that one?
Well,
It's kind of crazy.
It's pretty interesting that Steve Hildenberg, who I think passed away recently, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah. R.I.P. Rest in peace, Hill Dog. It's very upsetting that he lived next to P. Diddy.
Yeah.
And that P. Diddy never really made it on SpongeBob, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of great music on SpongeBob, so I wonder if like some of this partying actually sort of inspired some of the great tunes that we see in SpongeBob.
That would have, man, I would have loved to have seen a collab between P. Diddy and the SpongeBob team.
Oh gosh,
There'd just be like some
Squidward,
accordions and
like
rap
dropping
music,
down
like
some beats, and Patrick like rolling, like a dirty like bass like rap.
Yeah. Boom boom boom
Yeah.
boom boom. Yeah.
Plankton getting hard on the track.
I think he plays drums, right? He plays
Plankton
drums.
does play drums.
He plays
yeah.
drums,
So I think they got a band going for sure. I mean,
think so.
I don't know why they didn't go live. They could have done it even like Gorillas. Like how Gorillas had the cartoons that were like massive.
Just playing one of the
I feel
screens.
like they could have done that. I will say this too. Of all the neighbors I've ever had, my neighbors currently are awesome. Two really cool people. They take care of their yard really well. I'm really happy about that.
Yes.
But of all the neighbors I've had, it seems like SpongeBob and Patrick aren't actually bad neighbors. Like they could probably be annoying at times, but they're always so happy.
Oh yeah.
It's not like SpongeBob or Patrick are going to come over to your house and talk to you for 35 minutes about like global warming.
Right. Or they're going to try to like sell you insurance.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter what, like no matter what job Patrick, might have, he doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
But he will never try to sell you on the thing that he's doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about here is how does opposite day actually work?
Yeah.
So opposite day is a very daunting topic to me because, I mean, so Patrick's response right off the bat to not breathe is pretty on point.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
You're like, so are they supposed to go onto land?
Right,
are they
exactly.
supposed to
breathe air?
Yeah, drive with fossil fuels?
Walk backwards? Like, there's so many options.
Yeah, it's just a very daunting topic, I feel like. For Squidward to kind of go and make this his resolution, it's just kind of daunting.
Yeah. Should have probably thought it out a little more.
Probably, yeah. So let's move right into the second act. The next morning, Squidward wakes up and SpongeBob is just noisy drumming. SpongeBob says that there's something substantially wrong with Squidward, only for Squidward to realize. Let me restart this because the writing here is just putrid.
You're like, who wrote this?
Okay, yeah, for real. Bears at Colts kicked off.
Nice.
Deontay Foreman was waived by the Colts.
Well, we put him on IR.
Yeah. This is a SpongeBob /
Yes.
fantasy football podcast. Crossover.
It's a preseason game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Third.
All right. The next morning, Squidward wakes up SpongeBob with a noisy drum. SpongeBob wakes up unexpectedly with Squidward freaking out with a drum. Only to find out that Squidward tells SpongeBob that it is actually opposite day. Squidward explains that it is the one day of the year for everyone to act the opposite. SpongeBob vows to this, being quiet and out of the way for the new holiday, as Squidward shows his house to the real estate agent. And SpongeBob proves this by showing the writing of this is just putrid.
Only I didn't say frick.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Ready?
Yep.
The next morning, Squidward wakes up SpongeBob with a noisy drum. SpongeBob wakes up unexpectedly, wondering what the heck Squidward is doing in his house. Squidward explains that it is actually opposite day, and this is the one day of the year in which everyone acts the opposite. So SpongeBob agrees, plays along, and when Patrick comes over in the morning, he actually disowns Patrick and makes him feel completely unwelcomed. Not knowing of the holiday, Patrick gets the lowdown of the unsung holiday and begins acting differently with his buddy SpongeBob. The two frolic around, acting differently as they usually do. Squidward looks outside and notices SpongeBob and Patrick have completely demolished SpongeBob's house. SpongeBob quickly walks away, and Squidward attempts to rebuild the house, sending SpongeBob into an existential mess trying to figure out what is the opposite function than normal. SpongeBob and Patrick then vow to spend the rest of the day acting as Squidward. That was a daunting read. Whoever wrote that needs to get fired. Now, so I think the real interesting thing here is that real life SpongeBob, there's just real life SpongeBob is now stating that he is the opposite of Squidward.
Yes.
That is the one thing that I think is really potent here, is at the end of the day, he was like, I am SpongeBob. The opposite of me is actually Squidward.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, right, being neighbors, or even like from my perspective of like marriage, normally opposites attract.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a theory here. If I could be a theory boy, I know you're the theory guy, that this should actually work out really well for SpongeBob and Squidward. What do you think about that?
Well, the only thing is, right. So I think his realization that SpongeBob's realization that he is the opposite of Squidward, first off, is totally fascinating. But then he starts acting like Squidward.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's almost like they both just need to accept like who they are. Obviously, SpongeBob is way more along the line accepting who he is as opposed to Squidward accepting who he is.
This is just proof of the trickery of this episode, you know?
Yeah.
Like Squidward just really threw himself for a loop doing this whole opposite ordeal.
Yes.
It's just really jarring. Tim, what did you find?
So this is a take from Doyle Rules 392 on 3chan.
Wow, 3chan.
3chan, yeah, it's different.
It's nicer.
It's nicer.
It talks about cartoons.
Yeah, and 1chan, it's like heaven.
Yeah.
But yeah, we pulled this one from 3chan. SpongeBob and Patrick spend their opposite day in a useless way. This user says they should have won big in the stock market or flew a plane, not spending the day around the house like they always do.
You know, it's actually funny. I feel like they should have done this because it quickly would have shown them that it was not opposite day.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the market would have been like, no, that's not real. Sorry.
Right, yeah. Reality
know?
Kind of hitting up against the situation.
Yeah, I think the other thing here is that SpongeBob really loves being in on the joke.
Yes.
In a way that is really daunting because it always seems like SpongeBob is the joke, and then all of a sudden he's in on the joke and he is just in love. And he really commits.
He's yes-anding too hard.
He would be great at improv, or he would be horrible at it.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's indifferent to improv.
Thin line.
Have you ever seen the movie The Wash with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg?
You know, I can't say that I've seen it.
You should Google it because it's a thing, apparently.
Okay.
Well, if you ever want to scrub a diggity dub your clothes in a timely and inexpensive manner, make sure to check out The Wash in Bikini Bottom. I have to say, there's nothing better than a fresh pair of undies. I mean, what do you think?
I hard agree. 100%. That's
nothing in the world. That's better.
Nothing.
Not chocolate.
Not grilled cheese.
Not the love of your wife. Not the love of your mom.
Or society.
Or society's approval. Or even getting paid to do podcasts and vanity projects where you just hear your voice and you have to edit your voice and you have to say, you know what? I like his voice. I like my voice. There's nothing better than that. And even more so than a pair of undies. Go check out The Wash and Bikini Bottom. All right, moving right along to the third act, Patrick and SpongeBob go into Squidward's house and the realtor arrives to look over the house. SpongeBob answers as Squidward and shows her around, not forgetting to mention all the horrible things about the house. He finally shows her his art space, in which Patrick rips out of a painting and startles her as well. She is all but ready to leave, never wanting to return when Gary shows up dressed as Squidward as well. 3 Squidwards in one room. The real Squidward finishes up SpongeBob's house to find SpongeBob and Patrick are playing horrible music for his realtor. Squidward tries to reconcile with her, but she is not having it and storms off, refusing to buy the home. Squidward blows a fuse and chases them down with a massive construction loader. Tim, what did you think about this section?
Well, I've got a fan theory here from David Barista 2012 on MySpace. He says this was actually the original concept art for Squidward.
Wow.
They originally wanted to make the entire show about Squidward, but then they realized it would suck super hard.
Interesting. So basically, I think what they're saying is that they wanted a sponge to be dressed up like Squidward.
Oh, that's what that means by concept art. I thought it was maybe, you know what's funny? There's that picture in there where it's Squidward dressed as a farmer.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a great,
so
that'd be kind of a weird show.
Squidward farming. It would just be an underwater show with an underwater town about a farmer.
Yes.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, real lame.
I don't think we would make a SpongePod about that type of SpongeBob show. You know, I will say this. I was actually rooting for Squidward at the end, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think Patrick and SpongeBob really go off in this episode to a point where even normal human logic wouldn't have taken them that far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, even having fun with the joke, you go too far at a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another note I had is do you ever really think a realtor would really turn down trying to sell a house?
I mean,
it's money.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I would say they would probably turn it down more for if they're busy. But not if it's a hard home to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, because at some point you do a little bit of work and then it just sits there and hopefully it eventually sells. I mean,
it's the market in Bikini Bottom has to be so bad in order for her to actually turn it down just because of neighbors.
Right. Yeah.
You know, the last thing I want to say is did Patrick and SpongeBob actually commit a felony here by impersonating Squidward?
By impersonating him? That's interesting. I will say if they had impersonated him and then sold the house, I mean, probably.
Yeah, and took the money.
Right. Yeah.
Drove to Arizona.
Or
raised a kid.
Las Vegas.
Not very far. Yeah. Anyway, so that is it for our analysis of this great episode. We are now moving into a segment that is called Timmy 10. And these are 10 reasons that Tim has isolated why you should never buy a house, which is hilarious because I bought a house 3 months ago.
All right. The Timmy 10 reasons to never buy a house. Number 1, why would you buy something that is so expensive?
True. It is very expensive to buy a house.
Up to debt in your eyeballs. That's not the phrase. Up to your eyeballs in debt.
You just did it the opposite way.
I did. I did it for
Very
opposite
good.
day.
Very good.
I nailed it. What happens when a tornado comes?
What does happen when a tornado comes?
You get a lot of insulation on your roof.
You get a lot of insulation all over the place, and hopefully your house gets jumped. You know, tornadoes can jump.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, tornadoes can jump.
Awesome.
Also humans. Anyway, go ahead.
Number 3, who really wants to build equity?
Equity is stupid.
I mean, we're all going to die, right?
Well, and here's the thing. If you really want your money to make sense, buy diamonds.
As an investment?
Yeah, don't buy equity. Buy diamonds. Because brick and mortar, it can all break. But diamonds, only diamonds can cut diamonds. And I am here to tell you science because I don't know if that's accurate or not. I think glass could probably do it. I bet magma could do some damage on a diamond.
On a diamond? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. All right.
We should. That's going to be our new podcast.
Yeah.
Can this damage diamonds? Episode 1, magma.
Yeah, and we could get K Jeweler to actually pay for the podcast. That'd be really cool.
Mark it down. Put it in the ideas folder.
It's got a pretty big folder.
Reasons number 4. You have to buy a lot of items to fully use a house.
True. You have to buy a lot of crap.
So many couches.
At least 3.
At least 3.
One for your living room, one for sleeping, and one for your kitchen.
Yes.
True.
And TVs.
Like 2.
Number 5, again, tornadoes suck.
They just really suck.
Yeah, they're horrible.
They really suck.
Destroy people's lives.
Again, they jump.
Yes.
They do jump. They do spin.
What if it jumps over someone else's house and jumps onto your house?
What if a cow jumped into a tornado, which then jumped away? That's a real twister.
Yes, it is. Okay, number 6. What if someone breaks into your house?
That's a horrible thing.
That is horrible.
Because you have stuff. You say, this is my box in which I will keep all my stuff.
I like this box.
I like this box, and I like the stuff in my box. And then that guy says, I like the stuff in your box too, and he takes your box.
And he sells your box for $1.50 on the
That's not
black
cool.
market.
On Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. That's a solid place to sell box items. Yeah. No, someone breaking your home is not cool. Don't do it.
All right, what about reason number 7? Hurricanes suck too.
Okay, we just don't like natural weather.
I think that's what it is.
We just don't like weather.
Yeah, the rest of the reasons are all like avalanche.
Yeah, sun sucks. Sun has an effect on your roof. I don't know. This is a very weather Timmy 10.
Timmy 10.
Yes.
Number 8, something you did today. You have to maintain the yards.
You do. You have to make sure that everything's cut, that everything's trimmed, that when your friends come over to draft fantasy football, that they don't judge you for having not weed whacked your yard in about a month and a half.
You have to put up trees, which look very nice. You have to put up trees,
which was horrible.
But looks very nice.
Yeah, it's a baby tree. It's a baby tree, but yeah, you do have to maintain the yard.
Number 9, you normally spend more time walking when you own more property.
Interesting. Is that because you own more? Is it just walking from your one room that feeds you to the next room that sleeps you?
It makes you sound like a pioneer. I need to walk to the property. I need to walk to the land.
I need to make sure that my back fence isn't being marauded.
Right, yeah. I need to check the south gate.
It's not getting pillaged right now, but my north might be. Yeah, what's your last reason?
And the last reason? Tornadoes again.
I'm going to call you out. That was pretty lazy on your part.
Then I had 3 of the 10 reasons were tornadoes.
And one of them was hurricanes? Yeah. Anyway, so that was the SpongePod. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back for another episode. I had a lot of fun. I don't know what you think.
Always.
Yeah, it would be really awkward if you were just like, nope. Did not have fun.
I'm here against my will.
Against my will. Anyway, our data research is Josh Flagg. Our associate producer is Mason Hildenbrand. Our creative producer is Sally Forster Jones. Childcare producers by Christina Crosley. Our office assistant is Zach Cooper. Audio engineer is Jessica Brummett. Music by DJ Eugene. And music and cover art are by the man, the myth, the Milky G. Make sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at the SpongePod, where we post some stuff, I think. Make sure to email us questions at thespongepod@gmail.com. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist, and that he's gone off to watch SpongeBob.
That's a good one.
You read the docs, so you already know where it's from.
I'm so sorry. Although, can you imagine the devil watching SpongeBob? That's pretty great.
I think it's pretty bad, Tim, because the devil is a bad dude. See you next week.
Like tornadoes.